The epic welcome to the 5 Dassault Rafales by the Indians and the unprecedented media coverage given to them from the moment they took off from France to the time they had landed in India speaks volumes of the level of Indians' lack of confidence and their understanding of military tactics and conflicts. Well, it reminds me of the Hollywood blockbuster Troy and the opening scene where the two mighty armies were about to fight, but the kings decided to end it in the old-fashioned way. My best man against yours, and the one who wins, wins the battle. This Achilles and Boreas fight that lasts for a second or two, and the victorious Achilles stands facing the enemy soldiers yelling, "Is there no one else? Is there no one else?" 5 Rafales would do the job for the Indians if the Chinese would pitch 2 J-20s against them. That's what the Indians think. If the combat is like the way it was done in those times. My best man against yours. In this case, our best machine against yours. However, I have scientific reasons and logic to contradict even such a scenario would suit the Indian Air Force Rafales as they are F-3 standard version. Do see my detailed video on this subject to understand the statement I made. Anyways, back to the Indian dream. The way Achilles beat the whole army, the Indians are rejoicing the receiving of the 5 jets in an unprecedented manner, and the media is attributing qualities to those jets even their manufacturers never dreamt of, and are trying to make the Chinese fear of them as if they had acquired 5 B-2 strategic bombers ready to change the scenario in the Indian favor. Now one can imagine the military depth, sagacity and intellect of the media personnel when they say the 5 Rafales would be deployed in Ladakh, and how the hammer on the fighter jet would hammer both Chinese and Pakistani forces. I'm pretty sure the sane minds in India already know the realities. Number 1, the Eurofighter Typhoon had won the competition, and the Indian Air Force was very happy and eager to see the quality jet inducted in the Air Force, and how the French and the Indian political elite got the contract to sell the Rafale F-3 for a price that could have got the Indian Air Force F-35 for some bargain with the United States. 2. Rafales cannot see any combat before they are fully inducted in the Indian Air Force, which requires a full squadron of 16 jets, training of personnel, infrastructure at the airfields, integration with the other Air Force assets, and so on and so forth. Means at least 2 years before they could be forced into any combat, either with Pakistan or China. 3. They are tactical fighters only, mission specific, and require the whole other Air Force assets to work with them. They operate in battle scenarios, and though 36 Rafales that Indian Air Force may induct to serve in combat in 6 to 8 years may perform better in some battlefield scenarios, but they are not war winners, even by the best Indian calculations. 4. Wonder why the Western world is going for the Eurofighter Typhoon and F-35s instead of the Rafales. Even the Indian Air Force wanted one of the two to be a part of the Air Force, and in large quantities. 5. For a year or two, the 5 Rafales and the upcoming other jets from France be an asset the Indian military establishment has to protect rather than use it for the country's protection. The example was shown live at Ambala, where special surveillance systems, armed security and a whole combat squadron has been stationed to protect the assets from any attack. Hence, in tensions with either China or Pakistan, the Indians have to deploy resources to protect this asset rather than using the same against either of the aggressor. I hope the Indian media would get some sanity itself and get hold of some military knowledge, as it creates hype of the things beyond proportion, and then it has to face the shame. In conclusion, I'm addressing the Indian public not to listen to the war-mongering media that is making Indians a laughing stock all around the world. If you don't agree to my analysis, mark my words and see for yourself. Your Rafales shall see no combat for at least 5 years. Ladakh, it's a matter of what resources you have right now in your hands. It has always been a state of denial that always got you guys unprepared and wrong-footed. Hope you understand that combat nowadays is no longer the Hollywood movie Troy.